Welcome to The Space, a video series designed to support teachers and leaders in building brain-friendly classrooms so that all students can learn in deep and joyful ways. I'm Dr. Robert Dillon.
I'm Rebecca Hare.
Learning spaces can deeply inhibit creativity. The traditional model with desks and rows and teachers leading from the front makes growing makers and creators quite difficult. It is essential that we build learning spaces that promote and support the creative spirit.
There are a number of ways that any educator can build positive culture and energy in their classroom. The learning space is foundational to that work. This video looks at ways to make some necessary shifts to bring focus to learning, to create, make, and design.
Student choice is really important when we think about creativity. There's 3 or 4 different ways that can happen, but the 3 that I like to focus on are what is the student learning, how are they learning it, and then how are they showcasing that learning. I think all 3 of those are essential pieces of choice when it comes to students and how we can inject creativity into the classroom.
Absolutely. And for teachers starting off with bringing more creativity into the classroom and pulling yourself away from some of the traditional worksheets and things that are canned for students, starting with very few variables is really important. It can seem really overwhelming to think about starting a maker culture or bringing in 25 different things that you're not sure. Really starting with some glue sticks, some paper, and some markers, and asking students to show what they've learned from that and allowing them to build, design, or create their learning is a great first step, and it's not too messy or overwhelming.
Yeah. And as a teacher, if you want to begin to put these things in your classroom, you really have to schedule them.
Yeah.
They won't just happen. The urgent will take over and you'll never get to these significant changes. So make sure you're scheduling opportunities for kids to be able to work on their own passion projects. We hear words like Genius Hour and passion projects and 20% time. Whatever that works for you, allowing kids to interject their passions into this is really important.
And that's a mindset. When you pull yourself away for a moment and say, really, who should be guiding this learning? It should be the student. And then you give them choices, and should you make something for this? Is it going to be a digital project? Is it going to be something physical? And you pull yourself back and allow them to take control of their learning. But to allow that to happen first, I think the great first step is to talk to a teacher of the arts. Teachers of the arts, they have the procedures down to clean up materials. They know usually what a process is. They have rubrics and other things available to help you assess what's happening and feel like you are a part of the learning. So a great first step, go to your art teacher and say, I'm scared I'm doing this. What's the best glue?
Yeah, creativity doesn't have to be chaos, right? We can have routines, we can have procedures, we can have thoughts about like when we do these projects, where they're going to be stored, where they're going to go. But it is important that we don't settle for the old model of teaching where you give things to students and they give them back to you. And we really are able to say, showcase learning the way that works best for you.
Yeah, and what I've done in a few schools is we go in, we put in a table in the corner, and you have 5 different elements that they can work with. When students start to learn to work with those few elements, they become masters of them, they learn how to engineer with them, and then little by little you can bring new things in. You don't have to start off with all different kinds of technology and all different kinds of building supplies. Start really slow and then allow your learners to guide you on where you're going to move next with it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It does create this beautiful culture where kids are creating, making, and designing every day. Thanks for joining us for this video on building the creative capacities of your classroom. The learning space is central to lifting up a new spirit of learning that all students should experience.
Our challenge to you is to pick something in what you have to teach that's felt stale and you're not excited about teaching anymore, and give your students a choice in how they're going to learn it and how they're going to show you what they've learned. Step back for a minute, let them guide this process, and you might be really surprised that what was their least favorite thing to teach becomes your favorite thing to teach.